Welcome to my National Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my National Podcast. Today is Thursday, some of you guys' favorite day of the week. My goodness, and you want to know why? Because we got the juiciest of the juiciest book we've been going over this year. Oh man, Beautiful Venom has been getting good, baby. It's getting good. A little weird, because I think they've deviated really far from the main storyline of her trying to find out. It's something about her sister. It's been so many chapters since she's gone back to that. Like she had an agenda. And then all of a sudden she was just like, some super great dick and a boyfriend. And now I don't know what the hell I was doing. You know what I mean? Bro, she just deviated on this side quest and completely forgot about the main quest. So, yeah, hopefully she deviates back to it and, we figure it out. Because my thing is she was using Kane to get whatever information or to get into these people's inner circle or whatever the case may be. She was trying to get in there, do a little Zayd type shit, where she's just I'm gonna go undercover, pretend I'm one of them, everything's hunky-dory, get some information, yada yada, figure out what's going on with my sister, blah blah blah. That's what I thought was going on, and it seemed like that's what it was in the beginning. But then all of a sudden she's just no, I got me some good dick and I got me a boyfriend now. So you know what? Yeah, fuck everything else I was doing. And so for me, I'm yo, what? Huh? What are we doing here? So hopefully it gets back to that. We'll see. I don't know. We're going to be doing chapters 30 and 31 for today. But before we get into the book, you know what we have? We have our thread. So today's thread is, when did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire on you the worst? All right. This boy used to work with me, asked me for a ride home after work. Me being the nice person I am, I'm yeah, of course, no problem. It's 15 minutes in the opposite direction of my way home from work, but it's fine. I'm doing someone a favor. He then tells me, hey, can you drop me off right at the corner coming up? I can really walk the rest of the way. So I'm are you sure? It's no problem to drive you all the way home. He proceeds to tell me no, so I let him get out. Maybe a week later, I found out that he was telling everybody how I kicked him out of the car. Yeah, I never gave that liar a ride home. Yo! What? Why would he say that? He was just oh yeah, just drop me off at the corner. Are you sure I could drop you off right in front of your house? No, it's cool. Get to work next day. Stacy, she took me home, right? This bitch kicked me out of her car, and I'm I still gotta walk down the block. What the fuck's going on? Bro, no way. No fucking way. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. You don't do that to somebody who did you a favor. Bro, she went 15 minutes out of her way. She's got to go 30 minutes to work. 30 minutes just to go home because she's added 15 minutes on her drive because of you. Honestly, I ain't going to lie to you. Personally, I would never. If they live in the other opposite direction, nah. I'd be man, sorry, bro. You're in the opposite direction, man. I'm going that way while you're going that way. It's just not gonna work. I'm just gonna be straight with you. I would never. I ain't gonna lie. I would never. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't give somebody a ride if I'm going that much out of my way. It's just fucked up that you were being nice, and it sucks because it's one of those things where it's damn, is that what being nice gets you? Bro, I can see why people are assholes nowadays. Damn. All right, when did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire? Used to be best friends with a woman, had our kids about the same time, used to hang out and do stuff together. I started school and she was really supportive. I got my student loans and she asked if it was possible to get her kids a few groceries. She'd pay me back. I ended up spending a huge chunk of my student loans, about $400. That was a lot for me at the time. And filling her house with food. A few weeks later, when I asked if she could maybe possibly pay me back, she blocked me. Oh, when I asked if she could maybe possibly pay me back, she blocked me. I haven't spoken to her since. It's been almost 30 years. Fuck you, Naomi. Bro, that's crazy. That, and then again, another one of those, like, you be nice and it completely backfires on you. You know what I mean? Like, you be nice and it completely backfires on you. Bro, that's so fucked up. That is so fucked up, because it's like, bro, here I am giving you, I wouldn't say giving you money, but paying for stuff that I can't even afford for myself, mind you. You know what I mean? Like, she couldn't even afford that for herself, but she thought, you know what? She's a great person. You know, she's doing it for the right reasons. Nah, absolute scam artist. Scam artist, bruh. Damn. All right. On to our next one. What did giving someone the benefit of the doubt... hold on. When did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire on you? Ignoring my instincts on this one guy in college that nobody liked, who was kind of strange, gave him a chance and started dating him. Found out that his father was a domestic terrorist. Okay, that's fine. He's not his dad. Found out later when he left his journal out that he looks up to his dad and hopes to be as great as his dad someday. Also, he roofied me. Bruh. I ain't gonna lie to you. See, when I was younger, right, I used to be that type of guy, right, to give the advice of like, give a guy a shot. Give him a chance. See where things go, and this and that, blah blah blah. I used to give that all the time. I you know what I mean? But ever since, you know, I started to kind of just talk to more people, talk to more guys, you know, get to know more people, and then do the show and, you know, see into like the situations, scenarios, and relationships of other people and things like that. You start to realize, like, bruh, you really can't just go off of like, you can't go off of just like, oh, you know, give it a try, see where it goes. You know, we'll see what happens. Like, the moment you get an inkling about somebody, odds are that inkling is like 100% correct. And it sucks, because you're sitting there thinking to yourself just like, you know, because some people take chances, you know what I mean? You have that friend that's just like, yeah, man, I took a chance on this girl, dude, and it just fucking worked out, and it was amazing. And you think to yourself, okay, all right, I could do that. Maybe I should take a chance on you know what I mean, on Fredward over here. You know what I mean? Fredward might be a good guy. You start dating Fredward and you find him, you know, eating your cat or some shit, and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? And what is going on here? You know, and it's just, oh, bruh. Or, you know, you decide to give, you know, Chad Thundercock a shot, and, you know, he's banging your best friend. You know, you just never know, bruh. It's one of those things where it's like, the moment you get a bad inkling about somebody, it's like 9 times out of 10 it's true. And you know what I mean? It's crazy. And it's not even one of those, like, yeah, you could throw those little subtle nuanced things in there where it's just like, oh, but I took a chance on so-and-so. And that's what I mean. It's like, very rarely does that happen. You know, that's like the 5%. But the 95% is everybody else, is all of us. You know what I mean? Who take a chance on somebody and then it just completely fucking ruins your life. It's bad. Terrible. You know what I mean? I've been in my fair share of, like, I gave this girl a shot, you know what I mean? Thinking, what could happen? Things could go well, and it doesn't go well. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, dude. All bad. When did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire on you? When I was 13, I went to summer camp. All the girls dorm in the same 3-floor house. Other kids told me that this one girl who shares a room with me is a thief. I thought she was nice and did not believe the rumors. After the summer camp was over, I got back home. I found all my cash in my wallet missing. My parents gave me those cash in case I needed them. I did not I did not, so I never checked my wallet during the summer camp. She was the only person who has access to my wallet. Today, I still feel bad about this. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Back when I was like in elementary school and like middle school and stuff like that, there was a lot of kleptomaniacs, bruh. I remember I went to a science camp one time, right? And it was a really cool experience. It was super fun. And there was this rich kid in our class. And, you know, he always had the newest shit, man. You know what I mean? He had the new PSP when it came out. And, you know, he had all the games and shit. And then he had, like, really nice shoes and just a lot of electronics and shit like that. He had, like, an iPod and all that kind of stuff. And I remember there were some kids that were like, hey, yo, we're gonna like rob the rich kid, you know what I mean, and take all his shit, because for some stupid reason he decided to bring his iPod, his PSP, he had headphones that, I think this is back when like the Dr. Dre Beats headphones were like brand new, you know what I mean, they had just dropped kind of thing, back when they were like $350. And you know, it was he decided to bring all this luxury shit. And it was just like, oh, all right. And so kids were just like, we gonna get this motherfucker. And so what they do is they go, they wait until we all go out, because we had like throughout the day, everything was kind of scheduled. So it was like, all right, from 12 to 1, you know what I mean, we're going to be here. From 1 to 3, you know, we're going to be doing this activity. From 3 to 4, you know, we're going to eat. And then from 4 to 5, we're going to have another activity. And then from 5 to 6, we're going to do a little bonfire thing. It was always something. And so at the end of the night, we all had to shower, but we all had to obviously take turns. And so what you would do is, you know, you had your towel, you would wear like shorts or whatever, and you wouldn't wear underwear under it. So that way, like once you get into the shower, you could like get naked, shower up real quick, and then put your shorts back on and have your towel or whatever and go out. Now, you got to mind you, everybody is at the showers. Everybody. So there's nobody in the cabins. And so, like, I'm waiting in line, and they're like, oh, dude, are you going to come with us? And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll go with you. Stupid, I know. I went with him. And so, you know, they go in there, and they find his bag, and they're, like, grabbing all his stuff and things like that. They're like, oh, yeah, oh, he's got a PSP, oh, he's got an iPod, oh, he's got headphones, oh, he's got this, he's got that. And then for me, I'm like, oh shit, y'all niggas are really stealing this shit. Like, oh my God. And I didn't take anything just because I was afraid of my dad doing something. If me wrong, I was like, bro, if I get caught, my dad's going to beat the fucking brakes off me. Like, there's no way I am about to like risk getting, you know, my shit pushed in by my dad. So I was just like, y'all go ahead and do that. Have fun, do your thing. I'm out. And I left. And so, you know, I come back, and the teacher, you know, that was chaperoning, he was like, hey, you know, where were you at? And I was just like, oh, I left something back at the cabin. I had to go get something. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, well, where are the other boys that went with you? And I was just like, oh, I don't know. He goes back to the cabin, finds the boys there. And then a couple days later, we're leaving the campgrounds to go to the, I think we went to Long Beach because we were going to get on a boat, and then we were going out into the water, and, you know, you could see the dolphins, and you could see, like, it had, like, a little glass floor where you can look into the water through the boat and all that kind of stuff. And so we were out there, and the boy noticed, like, his shit was gone. And so then he told the teacher, and then the teacher was just like, oh, hold up. Aaron, you and these other 3 boys, what were y'all actually doing? And I was like, I didn't take nothing. You can check my bag. And the boy, you know, went through everybody's bag and found his shit. And they were like, oh, I had nothing in my bag, thank God. Because like I said, I was like, I'm too afraid. You know what I mean? My dad was going to beat my ass if I got fucking caught. And I was like, no, thank you. I ain't going to get caught on that shit. But yeah, man. Yeah. And I guarantee you it's worse now. You know what I mean? Especially with like little gadgets and technology that we have now. Oh, I guarantee you it's worse with like smartwatches and, you know, game handheld consoles and cell phones and all that kind of stuff. Dude, it's bad probably now as kids. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, crazy. Okay. When did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire? My father was abusive to his daughters and neglectful to his sons when we were growing up. When I was 17, he cheated on my mom with his secretary. He moved out, and all of his kids went no contact with him. Several years later, he had literally come to a Jesus moment, and tried reaching out to us reaching out to a few of us. My brother encouraged us girls to give him a chance. Big mistake. Yeah. Because it's what I've noticed, dude, is that a lot of people do this fake turning to God thing because they want people to like trust them again, because they know, shit, I can't get over on nobody. It's kind of like the whole, I guess OnlyFans and porn stars girls, once they get out of the industry and all that kind of stuff, they go straight to Christ and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, dude, it's one of those things where truly for me, I feel like you either are in the religion and you kind of stick with it, or you aren't. There are people who can find, God and all that kind of stuff and actually do it and get themselves out of things. But people are creatures of habit. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you can't. Like, beat a drug addiction or beat an alcohol addiction or whatever the case may be by finding religion. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying that majority of people do end up going back to their same bullshit. And that's exactly what happened with their dad. It's like, you can, for a moment, get yourself out of that situation. For a moment, be, in that holy divinity and all that good stuff. And you could do it for a minute. But people are just creatures of habit. I'm sorry. And they fall back into their rhythms you know what I mean? And it's kind of why a lot of people can't really work out. They get in the gym for like a month and then, they're back to eating fast food and being fat slobs and shit like that. It's just how it is. Like, people are creatures of habit. Very rarely, I would argue, that people can actually get into religion or get into healthier habits or get into certain things and actually change their life and actually move forward. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I changed. And it's like, then 6 months later, they're back on their bullshit. And that's why I always say it. I always give the advice to people. I'm like, you will never change a person. You may change them for a month. You may change them for 6 months, 9 months, a year, but they're gonna go back to their bullshit eventually. It's just the way people are. People are creatures of habit, and they tend to do that, and that's what it is. It's like, that's what the sucky part about it. And that's why for me, it's like, in that type of situation, I probably would have fell for the same thing. Like, yeah, no, go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Give it a shot because it's family or whatever. And the okie doke happens. You're like, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I think that one is a little bit of a different situation. But in majority of situations, it's like a personal change, but it's comes down to how long. You know what I mean? For how long will it be changed? Yeah, I mean, when did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire? I ended up getting married to them, and they wrecked me financially and emotionally. I am barely coming out of it and ruined my view of marriage and relationships completely. Yeah, dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. The more and more that I do this show, and the more and more I just kind of see couples just in my life, not even on social media, but just in my life in general, where people will get married and I'm just like, yeah, I'm so fucking happy for you. Let's go, baby. You know what I mean? And then they end up in just like the worst divorce possible, and I'm just like, bruh. And it makes me think like, yeah, the marriage part aspect of being in a relationship is just not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's really not. And it's one of those things where it's like, I can get everything that I need in a relationship out of you being my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I want, in a marriage that I can't get from the relationship. I get there's a title and all that kind of stuff, but I really, nah. Like, I've already kind of come to terms, and this is kind of like pushed a lot of girls away from me and my dating scene, is to where like I tell them I don't want to get married with the state, and they're like, what? Why wouldn't you want to do that? And blah 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 and this and that, like, and they try to be like, we can do a prenup and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, that's just not happening. You know what I mean? I'm not bending or breaking on that. That's not happening. There is no situation or scenario that will make it to where I will bend nor break on that thing, just because it's one of those things where I've constantly been seeing it just in the people that I know and the guys that I know in their relationships. Yeah, and obviously, yeah, you see it online, but I try to look at it like online is very exacerbated. You know what I mean? It's dramatic and it's big, and that's why I'm just like, I get that those things do happen, but at the same time, you know, not all the time is it realistic. You know what I mean? And so when you think about the relationships that you've seen in your actual life with friends you know and people that you know and people that you've worked with, whatever the case may be, you see those kind of things, and then you're like, oh shit, you know, like what happens online is still what happens in, you know, technically real life, if you will. You know, but obviously it's just a little less dramatic, and you're just like, dude, and it puts you off. It really puts you off. And I'm the type of person where I don't have to go through something in order to understand it's bad. Like, there's a lot of people where they have to literally go through something in order to realize it's bad. And there's a lot of dudes that are like that. A lot of dudes. There's a lot of guys that I have asked me for advice on the side, and they're just like, hey, I got engaged to my girlfriend, and you know, she's kind of acting like this and doing this, and she's changed ever since we got engaged. You know, do you think I should get married? And it's still to her, and da da da. And a lot of times, majority, I would say 4 out of 5 times, I'm like, don't. You know what I mean? Don't get married to her. You guys need to extend the engagement, and you need to kind of get to know her a lot more. And then also you need to kind of like put your foot down with her and let her know, hey man, this is not okay. You know? And a lot of guys are stubborn. A lot of guys don't want to do the work. They don't want to do what it takes. And so, you know, they go through it in anyway, and they're like, oh, I married her anyway. And I'm like, hey, congratulations, dude. Congratulations, dude. You know, I've only had one guy where, you know, they were together. I think dude said like 8 months. They were married for like 8 months, and then they got divorced. And I was like, damn, that sucks, dude. That sucks. You know, all the other guys, I wouldn't say they're happily married, but they're married. Let's just say that they're married. I wouldn't say they're happily. They could be. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, even in the show, you know, when people write into me and stuff like that, it's still like reflecting of that. And it's just, it's tough. It's so tough. All right, when did giving someone the benefit of the doubt backfire on you? A young woman stopped my car one morning asking for help getting home. Like a sucker, I agreed to drive her to the nearby bus depot. She refused to get out of my car, demanding I drive her 45 minutes into the next city's downtown core, telling me it doesn't matter if I'm late for work. I finally pulled my phone out and dialed 911, and she jumped out. Congrats, I'll never help someone down on their luck again. Yeah, bro. I don't do it. I've gotten into a place in life right now where I'm just like, I don't feel bad for other people's poor decisions, and I'm not going to be there to just like to help you. I'm just not. You know what I mean? And the reason for that is just because so many people take advantage. You know, and my thing is that even extends to even myself. Like, I would understand if I was like falling on hard times and someone didn't want to help me, because there's so many people who take advantage of it. It's just like, why would you take the risk? You know, like, why would you take the risk? There's so many people that take advantage of it. Now, it's different if you've known the person for, you know, X amount of years, and, yeah, I mean, you guys have been tight for a long time. Like, I know my friends of, you know, 10 plus years and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'd do anything for them. Yeah, I'd bail them niggas out of jail if I had to, you know. It's just one of those things where I know they wouldn't take advantage of it. But there's just so many people where, you know, they're at the gas station. Oh, can I get $1? Oh, you know, me and my family need money because of this and that. And I'm just like, nah, bro, nah. Like, I'll put some money on the pump, because I get this a lot. Because in the city that I work in, yeah, it's kind of like it's like a warehouse industrial style, like slash kind of poor city. I ain't gonna lie to you. And you know, you're always getting homeless people. You're always getting people begging and shit like that at the gas station. And so I remember one time this lady was just like, oh, you know, I need some money for some gas to get. And I was just like, yeah, I'll put $10 on the pump. And the moment I was like, I'll put 10, she was like, you can't just like give me, you know, $10. I'm like, no. No, now I know you're lying. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, now I know you're lying. Yeah, I mean, like, now I know you were going to use this money for something else. You're just like doing fancy ass panhandling at this point. Like, no, bruh. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like people are willing to take advantage, and that's why I've kind of gotten to a point in my life right now where I'm just like, nah, sorry, I ain't got shit. I ain't got nothing, man. I'm donating to the charity of me, baby. And it just is what it is. And I understand even when other people wouldn't even want to do that for me, because it's like, why would you take the risk? Like, bruh, just couldn't do it. All right, that's going to go ahead and be the end of that thread, man. Hope you guys enjoyed that thread. Definitely a juicy one, man. We've been having some very unique and fun threads lately, so I have been enjoying that. We'll hop through announcements and get right on into our book. So, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show. All right, definitely get a part of that. Link is down in the description for the Patreon. Join on in. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys have been the absolute goats, and I appreciate that so much, for coming out every week, downloading the episodes, rating us 5 stars on your preferred platform. I do appreciate that so very much. It's why I bust my ass to do 3 shows a week for you lovely people. Hell, 4 shows a week if you count Patreon. All right. If you guys want to help out even more, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. All that is free, and it helps out tremendously. Thank you guys so much again for all the support. I appreciate you guys so very much. Love you all. Let's get right on into the book that I know you guys are excited about. So let's do it.
30. Kane. I've been on edge ever since Dahlia disappeared from my side. A lingering discomfort has been wrapped around my throat like a noose, tightening further the more she doesn't answer my calls or texts. I drive to the lab, breaking all the speed limits. The place feels abandoned by the time I get there. The icy wind blows away the naked branches from the closest tree. My steps are careful as I study my surroundings, as if expecting a sneak attack. It's been a long time since I've had this feeling, the unsettling reality closing in on me, the invisible eyes lurking, watching, planning to set me on fucking fire. I stand in the middle of the empty parking lot, but I can see the shadows spilling, stalking, and multiplying. Over the past few years, I've stopped having this sense of dread, of the unknown, of the next mission, of whether or not we'll find Preston dead in a ditch somewhere. Because I took control of my life. I had a plan to topple Grant, take over, and mold Vencor according to my preferences. My way. I was close. So fucking close. 1 more year. No, just months at this point. Not even an entire year. The notion of a countdown made me lose all sense of fear. It didn't matter what Grant did, because I had my backup plans. He could torture me all he wanted, but I'd become numb to his methods. No matter what he did, I knew it'd end with his downfall. I knew I had the upper hand, in the form of a bulletproof plan. The future was mine, until it wasn't. My uncle was right. I'm back to being a cog in the machine. I've reduced my role from a chess master to a mere pawn on Grant's board. Yes, I can and will rise again, but it'll take more time and effort. Now that Grant knows what I'm capable of, he'll be waiting for me at every turn. Over the past week, I've been thinking about what I could have done differently to avoid this unceremonious downfall. But I keep coming to the same conclusion. Short of not meeting Dahlia, nothing could have been changed. And if that reckless part of me that my uncle called a fool could go back in time, he'd still insist on meeting her. I walk into the lab, my steps heavy, but it's not because of what I've lost or what I could become at the end of the season. Not really. It's that uneasiness that's been lurking behind my ribcage ever since she announced the sudden project she needed to finish. After I claimed her for the world to see following tonight's game, I felt her eagerness to take what we have a step further, go deeper, bury the past, forget the past, crush the past to fucking pieces so she never sees its blood-soaked fragments again. But right now, something's off. The bright white lights flicker as I stride into the work area. The sharp smell of antiseptic and chemicals lingers in the cold, sterile air. Fluorescent lights buzz faintly above, casting a harsh glow on everything. I've often arrived early to pick up Dahlia from here and remained in the shadows for some time, just enjoying the view of seeing her in her element. She said she only chose to study medicine for her sister, but Dahlia's a fucking genius at what she does. A hard worker and somewhat of a nerd. She gets excited about the most niche, unknown, and completely unheard of scientific research, and can talk about how important they are for hours. Right now, however, there's no trace of her moving around while humming some obscure band song. I'm about to call her for the 1,000th time, but my fingers pause on the phone. Dahlia's curled in on herself in the corner, small and fragile in contrast to the harsh, large surfaces surrounding her. Her arms are wrapped tightly around her knees, her face buried, hiding from the world. A slight tremor runs through her, barely noticeable. It cuts through the stillness of the room, the sound of her shaky breaths louder than the quiet hum of the machines. Her hair spills forward, a tangled mess hiding her face. But I recognize this state. It's how she protects herself when distressed or experiencing a nightmare. I carefully move toward her, the sharp echo of my footsteps bouncing off the sterile walls. I hate how the tension in her body tightens at the sound, but she doesn't look up, as if she's waiting for the darkness to swallow her whole. Dahlia. No response. I crouch before her and grab her wrist, then slowly release it. She doesn't resist, as if the fight in her is gone. My fingers tense when I lift her face. Her eyes are filled with moisture, and all the mischief is gone. They're a muted brown, colorless, no, lifeless. Tears streak down her red cheeks, clinging to her chin, then slipping to her jersey beneath the lab coat, wetting the blue to a darker color. While her tears during sex turn me on, these make me murderous. I don't like it when she cries, mainly because she rarely does. What happened? I stroke her cheek, wiping away the moisture. Who did this? Her lips tremble and fresh tears gush out, soaking my fingers. I grab her face with both of my hands. Tell me who the fuck did this, so I can end them.
Kane.
Her voice is low, weak, barely audible. This is not like her. Who the fuck managed to mess with her? I wipe her tears again. I'm here. Talk to me. Her voice breaks with a sniffle. What is it? She smiles through the tears and shakes her head. Dahlia always said I have high walls, but hers are equally high. She only recently started to act without putting her guard up around me. But right now I sense those walls building, growing thicker, and pushing me out. She stands up and forces me to lower my hands. Dahlia wipes her face with her sleeves.
It's stupid, really. I just thought of Vi.
I get up as well and watch her closely, but her face stays impassive, keeping her thoughts locked away. She walks out to where she keeps her stuff, her shoulders hunched and her back crowded with tension. I follow, my temper barely tucked away. Out of the blue,
It's not really out of the blue.
She opens her locker and starts throwing things into a tote bag.
I've known it for a long time, but I refuse to face it. It's been over 3 months since the attack. Every day she spends in a coma lowers her chances of ever waking up again. Her mental activity is diminishing, and the doctor basically told me to give up hope and stop getting excited whenever her fingers twitch. It's involuntary. It's reflexive. It means nothing. I should lower my expectations. Just now, I had the very scary but realistic thought that I might never have a conversation with my sister again.
I lean against the wall, my index finger twitching as tears gather in her eyes, and she wipes them with the back of her hand. This is the only time in my life I regret not having the ability to console others. I doubt my and Jude's method of kicking and hitting Preston while offering him food and meds is considered consolation for normal people.
Sorry for being all gloomy on your victory night.
She smiles as she faces me.
I'll make it up to you by being a cheerleader online.
That's not important. Do you want to go see your sister? She shakes her head. How about food? I can cook you something, maybe your favorite pasta. Another shake. Fuck. Food is the only soft thing I know how to do correctly. Then what do you want, Dahlia? Unless you tell me, I don't know. She grabs my sides beneath my jacket, her nails sinking into my t-shirt. When she looks up at me, her features soften and a shine flashes through.
I want to have fish.
Fish?
Uh-huh.
I don't think we'll find any at this hour.
Not here. In Maine.
Maine?
Yup.
Maine is more than a 6-hour drive. She sulks.
Is that a no?
It's a why Maine all of a sudden.
I want to see my hometown again. Can you come with me?
There's only one answer to that question, especially when she's looking at me with a softness I've never seen before. Maybe there's also a smidge of fear, but I understand that. She probably thought she'd never step foot in Maine again. I've seen the footage of her parents' deaths. While she was watching it, I heard her murmur that she never wanted it to happen. I know deep down that she blames herself for their deaths, which is probably why she never went back to Maine. But right now, she wants to heal, and I'll be part of that trip. My and Dahlia's understanding of road trips is entirely different. For me, it's simply driving and reaching the destination. For Dahlia, however, it's a bizarre experience, to say the least. She stuffed the car full of snacks, has blasted obnoxiously loud music, and has been singing her heart out. Out of tune. Oh, and apparently we both need to power off our phones so that it's distraction-free. She proceeded to do that and lock the phones in the glove compartment so we don't have to worry about anything we left behind.
That was amazing! Phew!
She grins as the song comes to an end.
Maybe the radio will repeat it.
I hope not. It was painful to hear the first time around.
Rude!
She hits my shoulder.
What's your favorite song? Let's see how you sound, Mr. Captain.
I don't have one. I focus on the road, the early morning light painting the sky a deep magenta.
No way.
She lowers the volume as the DJ speaks in the background.
I know you said you don't listen to music much, but you must listen to something. Instrumental, maybe? Classical or jazz or, like, the cool theme music?
Not really. It's distracting. She sits sideways facing me as she stuffs her mouth full of gummies.
You're like an alien. Hold on. How about a favorite movie?
Maybe The Game?
I don't even know what that is. Mine is Scream.
What a cliche.
At least you know what movie that is, unlike your pretentious choice.
Pretentious?
Yup.
She shoves a few gummies in my mouth.
You don't even eat candy. What a pretentious, posh boy.
I chew on the disgusting things, their extensive sweetness flooding my taste buds. I'm an athlete. We should watch our diet, Miss Medicine Major.
It's okay once in a while. I bet you haven't had anything sweet since you were a kid.
I'm not a fan of the taste.
Then what are you a fan of?
Fucking, chasing, choking, pounding, biting. Rough sex in general. A red blush covers Dahlia's face, and she chokes on the piece of candy in her mouth. I suppress a smile. You all right there?
You did that on purpose, asshole.
I was only answering your question ever so innocently.
There's nothing innocent about you.
She nudges me with her foot, then rested on my lap.
Have you always loved rough sex?
I suppose.
So, how many victims did you have before me?
Victims?
Women you chased.
I didn't chase any woman before you.
You didn't?
Finding someone compatible with such a rough kink is harder than you think. Besides, I didn't feel the real urge until you bulldozed through my life.
Wow. So it's my fault?
Yeah. I wrapped my hand around her leg in my lap. You'll take responsibility for the monster you provoked.
Some would argue the monster has always been there. By some, I mean me.
Maybe, but you're the one who broke the spell.
I mean, you broke the spell for me too, so I guess we're even.
Me?
Yeah,
She strokes my cheek.
I didn't know I loved that type of sex until you. It kind of made me suspect my morals and consider therapy, but I accept myself now.
I tighten my grip on her leg. As you should.
Oh my God, I love this song.
She hikes up the volume and starts singing again, shamelessly loud, and tries to feed me the sugary things from the bag she's holding. Her cheerful mood, however, slowly withers when we arrive in Maine. It turns into terrible silence when I stop in front of her previous address, in a small town by the coast. The house sits quietly by the water, its silhouette framed against the early morning light. It's small, nothing like the sprawling estates I'm used to, but it's well kept. The white fence that borders the front yard is freshly painted, straight and sturdy, though a bit weathered by the salt air and covered with a few layers of snow. The ocean hums in the background, the faint sound of waves lapping at the shore just behind it. The air is cool, carrying the scent of salt water and morning dew. A couple steps out of the house, their soft laughter rising in the quiet as their kid bounces ahead of them, kicking the snow with his feet. The boy's giggles cut through the air as the parents half laugh and half scold him. The scene feels out of place, like something from a different world. A world where everything is simple. Dahlia's world. That must have been her life before everything ended. I watch her as she watches them, her eyes watery, her hands shaking around a bag of chips. This time I don't hesitate as I take her hand in mine. She shudders, and I think I feel her stiffen before she goes still. Does it make you sad? I ask.
On the contrary, I'm relieved that the house is well loved and kept. Mom and Dad would be so happy if they saw this.
She grins.
Hey, Kane?
Hmm?
Let's go by the ocean.
When it's this freezing.
It's the best. I know people say coastal towns are depressing in the winter, but it's like a fairy tale, believe me.
I have my doubts. She just laughs and drags me out of the car. We trek by a rocky path that she said she remembers, but it turns out her memories failed her. It's ridiculously icy weather to get lost in, but Dahlia just laughs and says it's perfect for exploration. We end up hiking to the peak of a large snow-covered rock that overlooks the deep blue ocean. The colors here are cold, white, navy blue, and unforgiving gray. Dahlia stares at the violent waves below, throws her hands wide apart, and screams at the top of her lungs.
Mom! Dad! I'm home!
The echo of her voice is swallowed by the wind as her long brown hair flies behind her. She looks like a goddess.
I'm sorry I didn't come back before. I'm doing amazing things. You'd be so proud of me. I have a sister now. Her name is Violet, and she's the sweetest person ever. You would have loved her so much.
Her voice breaks, but she turns around and takes my hand, then pulls me to her side.
I brought someone. You would have loved him too. Probably.
Probably,
Shh. It's a 50-50 chance.
she whispers, then yells at the ocean again.
He's filthy rich, buys me ridiculously expensive clothes, and even cooks for me. He's not that bad sometimes.
Sometimes,
Just stay silent. This isn't about you.
she glares and then smiles at the ocean again.
You don't have to worry about me anymore. Your little girl is a grown-up now. Thank you for everything.
Her hand shakes in mine, and I squeeze it tight.
You think they heard me?
I wrap my arms around her waist. Hopefully not the part where you said I'm not bad sometimes.
You're so petty.
Only sometimes. She laughs, the sound so light and endearing.
Thank you.
What for?
Accompanying me on this bizarre trip.
I pull her against my chest, lift her chin with my index finger, and kiss her frozen lips. Warmth seeps between us, and she hugs me while kissing me back. Her body becomes one with mine, her nails digging into my jacket, and it feels like she desperately doesn't want to let go. My lips leave hers, and she smiles.
Want a Poor People's Town tour? I'll give you a discount.
By all means. Dahlia obviously forgot most of the town, and many places have changed. But she still gets excited whenever she sees a familiar shop or house. We do have the fish she came all the way for. We also buy a lot of fishermen's catch, and Dahlia donates them to the local restaurants. I suppose that's her way of honoring people who have her dad's profession. She doesn't stay still for the whole day, going from one place to another like a busy bee. It's almost as if she doesn't want to stop and breathe. By sunset, we're walking back to the car, her hand in mine, when she hesitantly stops by a small bridge. What? Is there somewhere else you want to visit? Her lips pull in a small smile.
I think I saw my dad's friend. I'll go and say hi.
Fine, let's go.
You just go bring the car. It won't take long. I'll be here.
All right. I'm about to leave, but she doesn't release my hand, her fingers digging into the back of it.
Kane,
Yeah,
you know how I always say I hate you?
what about it?
I don't. Actually, I really like you.
She grins.
Like, a lot.
A drop of heat expands behind my ribcage, melting away all the years my father spent attempting to turn me into ice. A few words from Dahlia, and I'm touched by warmth. A few words, and it's like I'm transformed into a new person. I really like you too, when I don't want to strangle you.
What a romantic.
She smiles, but it's sad.
I'll be waiting. Go ahead.
She hesitantly releases me, and it takes me about 5 minutes to reach the car. After I get in, I open the glove compartment. I know I promised Dahlia no phones, but it's been a whole day without checking in on Preston's deteriorating state. I pause when I don't see Dahlia's phone. When did she take it? With a frown, I power on my phone and pause at the bombardment of missed calls by Jude. Fuck. What happened to Preston now? I'm about to call Jude, but then I see the text. Jude, where the fuck are you, man? This is an emergency. Jude, Violet has been kidnapped from the hospital under the guise of a medical transfer. Jude, my brother and your father are behind this. I don't know what the fuck they want, but my brother's driver mentioned a trip to the lab. I'm guessing they're using Violet against Dahlia. I'll see what I can do from my end. Jude, update. I still can't locate her. My fist tightens against the steering wheel, and I hit the start button. My body flattens against the leather as I speed to where I left Dahlia on the bridge. The trip, the strange behavior, the way she was holding on to me the whole day. Now I see why it all felt so weird. The moment I reach the bridge and find it empty, the realization hits me across the face. This entire day, Dahlia has been saying goodbye.
31. Dahlia. I should have kissed him one final time. Hell, I should have fucked him. I should have taken something of him with me. Maybe if I had, it wouldn't hurt this bad. Maybe it wouldn't feel as if I'd ripped my heart out and left it in the palm of Kane's hand. But I couldn't possibly think of anything during this entire trip. I wanted more time with him, even if it was a couple of hours, minutes, seconds. That's why I came up with this stupid idea of visiting my old hometown. I only wished to delay the inevitable, but I ended up with the best down memory lane trip of my life. Having Kane beside me, his hand wrapped possessively around my waist, has made it more enjoyable and less of a tearjerker. Until now, that is. I sit in an old, empty cathedral hidden in the corner, staring numbly at the large crucifix on the altar, and hoping my heart doesn't break to pieces and leave me hollow. Wait, it's too late for that. My fingers shake and my vision blurs. Hey, I talk to the crucifix, tears flowing down my face. Can you make it stop? No? Why not? You took my parents away and Vi too. Now Kane? Is my life a joke to you? Am I not allowed any form of happiness? No matter what I would have done differently, it would have ended this way, wouldn't it? Why? Just tell me why.
Because you yearn for something you shouldn't have looked at in the first place.
Authoritative footsteps echo in the air as Grant walks to the altar and then stands in front of it, his back to the relics. He looks like a devil fresh out of hell. The tailored suit and groomed appearance don't hide the pure evil that lurks in that man's soul.
You got greedy, Dahlia, and people like you aren't allowed to be greedy. If you looked up long enough, that neck would be broken.
I wipe my tears with the back of my hand. Were you following us?
Your day is almost up and you didn't do what I asked.
I'm not going to hurt Kane with my words. He's already experienced enough pain from you. If you tell him about my motives, he'll stop looking for me and even despise me. So you get what you want either way. I lift my chin despite the breaking sound that reverberates in my chest. Let me and my sister go, and we'll move to a different state and stay as far away as possible. He tisks, the sound loud in the silence.
That wasn't the deal. I specifically asked you to be the one who hurts him. If it's me, that will only make him hate me and end up idolizing you more. He can be stubborn with his feelings. It took me a long time to stop him from seeking his mother like a fucking weakling. But if I have to break him again so he'll erase you and go back to being normal, so be it.
Normal? That's not normal. That's a robot. The urge to strangle this man beats beneath my skin like a need, a fucking urge. Maybe I can kill him and rid Kane of his evil. Maybe Kane and his mother can finally reconcile. I suspected it before, but now I'm sure Grant is the reason Kane keeps his distance from Helena. Yes, Kane probably still holds her accountable for what's happened to him, But he also recognizes just how abusive his father is. He knows that the more he seeks his mom out or spends time with her, the more Grant will punish him and probably take out his wrath on his wife. Surely, if I kill Grant, the world will be a better place. I reach a hand into my tote bag and feel for the scalpel I usually keep for self-defense.
What I do with my family is none of your concern.
Grant's gratingly condescending voice echoes in the air. My fingers latch onto the scalpel case and I open it as I speak. Have you ever felt sorry for the shit you've put him through since he was a kid? Have you ever wondered that maybe you stole his childhood and molded him into a gloomier version of what he could have been?
Sorry.
He says the word as if it's an insult.
Why would I feel sorry when I saved him? I made him into the perfect man who can rightfully inherit my empire. He had to be a wolf, or he would have been eaten by one.
I scoff as I clutch the scalpel's handle in my shaky hand. So you tortured him, left permanent scars on his body, and broke his soul for his sake?
Don't be ridiculous. It's for the Empire's sake. He only exists to fulfill a role. We all do. Yours is to stay in your lane.
So it's narcissism. You only brought him into the world so you could use him. The pain stagnating inside me whirls and transcends the situation I got trapped in.
He's a Davenport. That's his duty.
He's not only a Davenport. He's just Kane. I murmur in a low voice he probably can't hear as I stand up, shoving my hand with the scalpel in my pocket. I don't feel my legs, as if I'm floating on air. My senses sharpen and a red mist covers my eyes. This man needs to die. For Vi, for Kane, for Helena, for me. My legs carry me with ease. It's funny how I got entangled in this entire mess to seek revenge, but right now, I only want to stab him to death.
What were you murmuring to yourself?
He asks when I stop in front of him. From this angle, the crucified Jesus looks looming, tall, the blood surrounding the holes in his wrists matching my red haze. I said Kane is just Kane. He's not your plaything. I shout as I pull out the scalpel and aim it at his throat. Grant steps back at the last second and the scalpel only grazes his jaw. He grabs my hand and twists it so suddenly, a scream of pain bubbles out of me. My grip loosens on the scalpel and it hits the ground with a clink as Grant kicks me in the stomach. I fall to the harsh floor, coughing. A metallic taste fills my mouth and blood spills out of my lungs. But I still crawl to the scalpel. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Just when I'm about to grab it, a shoe steps on my outstretched hand and I groan, then scream when he applies pressure. Grant stands above me and motions somewhere behind me. He wipes the gushing blood from his jaw as he shakes his head.
Looks like your time is up, Dahlia.
My scream comes to an abrupt halt as something sharp pricks the back of my neck. The scalpel turns blurry and a tear slides down my cheek. As the darkness swallows me, my thoughts are of deep failure. I'm sorry, Vi. I'm sorry, Kane. My senses come back in pieces, disjointed, hazy, but sharp enough that I jolt awake. No matter how much I widen and blink my eyes, I only see darkness. The air is thick, suffocating, reeking of mildew and something else. Damp, rotting wood, maybe. A drip echoes in the distance, slow and methodical. It plants a seed of fear at the bottom of my stomach. I try to move, but pain slices through my shoulders. The ache burns so much that everything snaps into focus. My wrists are bound above me, the rough chains digging into my skin, pulling tight every time I shift. My bare feet barely touch the ground, just enough to feel the slick, wet floor beneath them, but not enough to steady myself. Where am I? Panic floods my chest, drowning out every coherent thought. The thick darkness presses in on all sides, as if the room itself is swallowing me whole. I blink rapidly, trying to adjust my sight, trying to see something, anything, but there's nothing. Just the cold air clinging to my skin and the sound of my ragged breathing filling the space. My mind scrambles, racing through fractured images. The last thing I remember is being injected with something and losing consciousness. After that, nothing. My thoughts stutter and freeze like static cutting through my brain. My wrists burn from the strain, my muscles screaming, but it's the fear that twists my jumbled insides. What if Grant is using me to get back at Kane? What if I'm his downfall? I need to get out of here, wherever here is. My fingers curl instinctively, grasping the chain and pulling myself up, but I fall back down. The sound of my breath is louder now, echoing in the small space, filling the silence with my rising panic. The drip in the distance fades, replaced by a low grinding metallic sound. My heart kicks into overdrive, panic swelling as I strain to figure out the source of the noise. Something shifts above me, and before I can brace myself, a torrent of freezing water crashes down, drenching me. It's cold, ice cold, shockingly cold. I stop breathing as the water slices through my skin like 1,000 tiny needles. It doesn't stop. It keeps pouring, soaking through my clothes, clinging to my body like a second skin. I gasp, choking on the air. The ache in my shoulders sharpens, and the weight of the water jerks me down harder. My feet slip on the wet floor, barely grazing it as I try to find some footing. Oh God, am I going to freeze to death? The water stops, but I remain shaking in place. It hits me then. This is one of Grant's torture methods, one he probably used on Kane countless times. A fresh wave of terror rolls over me. The thought that a kid could have gone through this, that Grant subjected his son to this type of punishment, churns my stomach. The cold, the chains, the pain. How could Kane have hidden all this behind that calm, emotionless mask? Water drips on the floor, each icy drop like a reminder, a piece of the puzzle that Kane never let me see. How did he survive this all these years when I feel like I'll die? My body shakes, trembling against the freezing weight of the water. This must be why he had bruises that one time and his complexion was pale. He still lived through it, though. The thought hits me like a blow, but it doesn't bring comfort. It just makes the darkness around me feel more suffocating, hopeless. I don't know how long I've been here, but it's long enough that my shoulders are going numb while still screaming in pain. A door creaks open, and I close my eyes as strong light flickers above my head and bathes the room in bright white. Grant walks in with 2 men dressed in black. One of them is bald with tattoos all over his head, and the other has a scar right beneath his eye. I'm shaking uncontrollably as Grant walks to a table covered with black boxes off to the side. He opens one and then grabs a whip.
No.
He smiles.
I'm sure Kane won't look your way again once we disfigure your face and body.
My chin trembles as I say, "He'll never forgive you."
Good thing I don't care.
He smiles, his lips curling slightly.
Shall we begin?
All right. Well, that has been chapters 30 and 31. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching and all that good stuff. I will see you guys tomorrow on Friday if you are a Patreon member, or I will see you on Sunday. Love you guys all. I'll see you then. Peace.